Good morning. This is the last video for Meyer's plays from the break window. It's also his last play from the section on fencing from the postures. So this will be the last video in this particular series. Luckily, he kind of gives us three options, so we get a lot of material out of here. Let's take a look at what he has to say, and then we'll talk about how to practice it. If an opponent delivers a thwart at your left ear, then fall down with the long edge onto the middle of his blade. When you fall on it, again grip over your quillions onto the blade with your fingers and lay the short edge behind his blade on his head. Concerning this, see the large image in the same image M. Shove your pommel away from you, holding him such that he cannot get free until you have hit him. However, if he forces out from under your blade, then quickly pursue him and again catch over both his arms as before. Or, when he delivers a thwart cut, then catch his thwart on your hanging blade, grip with your left hand over his shield and quillions, turn them out away from you as shown by the small figures on the upper right in the same image M. So that's maybe not super clear, but it's not, once you break it down, it's not really that complicated. So if you think back to the first break window videos, we are reacting with thwarts to get out of this position safely. We're now on the other end of it, and Meyer is telling us what to do if the opponent does the thwart on us. So the first one is we are up in this break window position, we are underneath the sword, and they're going to thwart at us. All we're going to do is drive our lead edge onto the middle of their blade. So we're kind of stuffing their thwart cut away from us. So they're trying to hit us with this back edge in the ear, we're stuffing it. As soon as we make contact, we're going to do that same flip across the palm to whack them in the ear behind. So we're on their sword. We're going to raise the pommel and do this over gripping to kind of get some leverage. This is one of those instances, I think, where Meyer's giving us that wink, wink, nudge, nudge, in that we're doing this little flicky back edge cut, but if we're more lethally inclined, we're just going to stab them. So from this stuff, we could do this over gripping and stab them in the face. You could honestly just turn the back edge into the thrust, but we're going to go with what he tells us, which this is the over thrust. We're kind of hitting them on the head, and then he says to push the pommel away. So we're kind of wrenching on them. We're getting some leverage. We're gonna hit them in the head, pin them down a little bit. We're really stuffing them. If they pull out away from us, we're gonna follow them and do that same behind the blade hooking that we saw in the last week's play. And then we can do the same throw as before. So the first part is pretty simple. We're in the break window. They thwart. We're gonna stuff it, over grip to hit them in the back of the head. If they pull away, we're going to follow and we're going to hook them. That's the first part of the play, and so it's really kind of two options of a motion that we've seen before. Next one is a little different. We're again in this position, and they're going to thwart at us, and now what we're going to do is we're going to come under. It's almost like I'm taking my lead edge and cutting along my left shoulder. It's kind of similar to the slide that we've seen in the Wrath Guard, or an under thwart that you see in some other systems. So from here, we're going to come in tight to catch it, and then we're going to release our left hand. We're going to grip now their quillion / shield. So we're kind of grabbing their cross piece. Then we're going to turn it away a little bit, and then we can step in and hit them. So this one might be a more familiar motion to some of you, just because this over gripping is pretty wacky, and the reach out and grab might feel a little bit more natural. Either way, though, we're here against the thwart. We're going to come underneath, and we're going to grab their sword and hit them. And so those are really the three options he gives us in this last break window position. In terms of practicing on the Pell, this is not something I practice a whole lot on the Pell. The only things I would say is that when I'm here and I think about stuffing, I want to make sure that I'm crossing the line, and then I just make sure that I can get a decent amount of hit and then leverage. I want to make sure that I'm in a good position, because if you're out here and you're kind of not in a good position, if your center is in the line, you'll feel pretty weak. So the only thing I really do on the Pell is just to make sure that when I'm here, I'm getting this over grip and I'm getting good leverage in position so that my body's in a strong spot. It's kind of really just a mechanics check more than trying to drill the motion on the Pell that much. The other one I think is maybe a little bit easier. We're here, we slide underneath, we grab, and we hit. Again, this is not a sequence that I practice on the Pell very much. This is a little bit more fruitful when you have a partner that you can practice with. Our county is allowing some small groups to gather, so our club is kind of up and running again. We're all wearing masks. Most of us have been completely vaccinated, but we're still wearing masks. We're still outdoors for the ventilation. So that's really what what this video is about. So just remember for the mental shorthand, break window, stuff, over grip, follow and wrench, or break window, underneath, grab and hit. That's really it for this. This marks week, I believe, 55. So I've been doing weekly videos for over a year straight. I'm going to take this opportunity, since we've hit the end of the fencing from the posture section in Meyer's book, to take the rest of the month off. So this is kind of the season finale, so to speak. When I come back in a few weeks, I think I'm going to do some general videos. We've been doing some new footwork drills and some new positioning drills, so I'd like to show those. And then I'm either going to go into the next section of Meyer's book, or I'm going to start what we call at the club Grandpa Month, where we actually look at Ring X Gloss and work through that. So if you have an opinion on which of those you'd like to see, because I'm making these videos both for the students that I work with in the SEA and in the HEMA Club, but also for general consumption. So if there's something you'd like to see, I'd love to hear it. I really didn't expect this series to go that long, and so I'm not super invested in what comes next. So if there's something that would be helpful, I'm happy to tackle it. So like I said, play with these. I hope that they are fun, and I will see everybody in a couple weeks for some general drills, and then we'll jump into whatever the next section of material is that we all want to talk about. Thanks a lot.